Hello everybody, my name is Satan herself, or Satan Isn't herself on Twitch, and here today I'm doing a Peggle Extreme speedrun tutorial. I'm going to be covering two categories. It's going to be any percent, which is of course just beating the adventure mode, front to back, and Extreme Grandmaster, which is the 100% category of the game that I just ran at AGDQ 2025, so I figured people would want a nice tutorial on both of those categories, and since they're both pretty short, we can definitely get through them pretty well, and by the end of this video you'll know how to play. Now, before we start with everything, I will, of course, go ahead and address how to actually speedrun this game. Like, what would you need? You need a machine that can run Peggle Extreme. Peggle Extreme is free on Steam. You can go on Steam and download it just for free right now. You don't have to wait or anything like that. So, yeah, go play Peggle Extreme. It's literally free. I also recommend getting the program Live Split, which you can see on the left side of my screen right now. I have to switch that from Extreme Grandmaster to any percent splits, but we can do that later, because that'll help you sort of track how fast you're going, and you can also split it up into splits here. It's free also on the internet. Just type Live Split into your browser and go download it. If you need extra help on Live Split or on downloading this game or capturing this game or anything like that, go ahead and go to the Peggle Discord. I will have that linked in the caption, and it's also linked on all of the official Peggle SRC pages, including Peggle Fevers, if you'd like some extra help. Go ahead and ask any questions in that Discord. We are always happy to help you. I'm a mod there, so yeah, great stuff. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about Peggle the game. So if you haven't played Peggle before, there's going to be a sort of specific... I love this music. There's a specific mechanic where if you hit every single orange peg on this screen, you move to the next level. And you're going to get 10 balls at the start of each level to be able to do that with. So you just aim, you click, and you shoot. And that's going to put your ball away. You also have this free ball bucket roaming on the bottom. If your ball makes it into that free ball bucket at the end of your shot, you get a free ball back. You can also get a free ball back from getting enough points. We'll discuss that more at length later. You also might notice there are 3 other colors of pegs on the screen besides the orange ones. There's the blue pegs, which are mostly there to just get in your way, but sometimes you use for points and such like that. There's the green pegs, which give you a special power. So there you go. For Bjorn, which is the only master you can use in this game, so that's the only power we're going to be working with. He gets this super guide, so that means you can see the next bounce that you're going to get off of a peg. There you go. Cool. Got it into the free ball, and as you can see, got an nice extra free ball. And then there's this purple, which actually changes from blue peg to blue peg every shot instead of just when the level boots up, and gives you a bunch of extra points by boost. Speaking of moving from shot to shot, or moving from place to place, this game has some pretty big randomness in it. Even though the level layouts are going to be the same thing every time you boot them up, the actual placement of the oranges is going to change every time. So just watch what happens when I boot up the level. You can see that all the oranges have moved around. It's totally different spot. So that's sort of a basic mechanic to get used to in Peggle, is you're going to have to look at the screen, see where your oranges are, and plan based around that. Yeah, I think that's about the basic mechanics of Peggle. And then let's talk about some speedrun best practices. So there are some strategies we're going to use in this game, but I'm not going to touch on them right now. Right now, I'm just going to talk about what are some of the faster things to generally do in this game. So let's go ahead and check out... Let's check out Boone. Oh, we got the glitched music. Nice. So here's an example of something you might not want to do. Why wouldn't you want to do that? I basically shot this peg, and then the ball went way up high here, and it did a really slow arc. So one thing you're going to want to try to do in your shots is make shots where the ball sort of trends down faster on the screen. So for example, that was a really, really fast shot. That's not always going to be what you're going to want to do. You might sometimes check out shots where you do have an upper bounce, but like shots like that, really nice downward momentum, that's going to make you go a lot faster. Another best practice that you might want to do is you might want to aim high. So what that means is sort of singling out oranges that are at the top of your screen, and then trying to make nice shots that go down the bottom of the screen in the direction that you think might get some oranges. That's called aim high. It really just means the higher you aim, the more likely the ball is to get random stuff on the way down, which is helpful for you, obviously. Wow, thanks, game. Yeah, here I was trying to do something dual purpose with that shot, which was aim at a blue that was in the way to get to another orange. That's another thing that you have to consider is sort of whether your shots have one purpose or whether you can make it so that they can do multiple things at once, which is useful to do as well. So I'm going to try to save this level here. Since I've been doing explanations, there hasn't been... Oh, well, there we go. A lot to do there, but exactly like that. So one thing I did there that's a nice basic thing to do is I waited until I had removed most of the oranges from the screen to do that shot. That's because every orange you get increases this multiplier here, which increases the amount of points that each peg is worth. And if you get 25,000 points or more on a single shot, you get a free ball. So if you wait to have a shot that you know is going to get a bunch of pegs till late in the level, when you have already cleared out most of the oranges, you're more likely to get a points free from that. And we finished the level. So there, you can see that when we end the level, we get this extreme fever, and this ball is going to bounce on these, thank you for the sector clear, on these bumpers here. So you actually want to ideally leave an orange peg that you can go right into one of these points buckets through. So there, that was going to be a bit of a hard one because the peg was weirdly shaped, but that's another basic strategy. So those are all just kind of basic strategies that you can do without having to learn any particular fancy shots. It's just, you know, best practices, and that's why Peggle is a really skill-based game. It's obviously super RNG heavy and has some advanced strategies or basic strategies. You can use whatever strategies you want. But those sorts of instincts are going to sort of just take over as you get more experience with Peggle. And if you remember some of those basics, you'll be able to increase your skill even faster. So there we go. Now I'm going to talk about the two sort of main strategies that you can do, which are tap shots and pixel shots. So we're going to go ahead and use this level called Dynamic Duo in order to explain that. So, what are tap strats and pixel strats? Well, tap strats are aiming either to the left, to the right, or in the center of the screen, which you can do by moving your mouse in here in this character portrait. And then you can tap a certain amount of times on your keyboard. So from here, I could go tap one right, and that moves me one increment right. You can move all the way to the left. That's just left. And then here is one. So if you see on a document that you're working from, I will link my strategies document in the caption there. L1, what that means is aim all the way to the left, click one on the right arrow. If you see D, R1, then that's aim all the way in the middle of the character portrait. Type 1 right on your arrow key, and then shoot. So for this level, we actually have a couple of different strategies you can do. But on the right side, I like to do R2, so that's all the way to the right, and then 1, 2 left taps. And then you can actually track where the ball bucket is on the bottom of the screen. I'm, by the way, holding down right click to speed up the ball bucket. And shoot it when it's almost at the right end of the screen. And what that's going to do is that's going to make it so that this ball bucket is going to be exactly where we want it to be to get a free ball at the end of the shot. I did it a little bit too early. No problem. So if it was all the way to the right end of the screen, that would have done what I wanted it to do. That's also delineated in the strat document as a number, so that would be +10. The plus is the ball bucket moving to the right. The minus is moving to the left. And then the numbers are 0 here, 10 here, and then you just imagine it split up as 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. So here I'm going to go ahead and do a second opener, which is R plus, I think I have it written down as +2, but I think it's actually closer to +3 or 4. So we're going to do that. There we go. And then there you go. You can see the ball bucket timing in action. I also want to point out something important about Bjorn. So when you have Bjorn's super guide power here, it'll actually change the distance that you get when you tap. So you actually can't do R2, R3, R4, etc., or L2, L3, blah, 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 with Bjorn's power correctly. However, either L or R or down or left 1, right 1, all of that will still work. For some reason, 1 still works fine, so whatever. There's a lot of levels that have these strategies, but especially in the early game, 1-3 in particular has a really cool sequence of tap strats. Tap strats are really easy to execute. They are a bit limited in terms of what they can do because obviously you can only do so many things aiming to the left and right side of your screen, but sometimes they can make really amazing shots. I'll show y'all in 1-3 later what tap strats can be capable of, and they're really easy to execute. If you're looking to start out using strats in this game, tap strats are a great place to start. You can do it at home. It's easy. All right, now let's talk about the next kind of shot, pixel shots. So pixel shots are exactly what they sound like. They are literally pixel perfect. Yep, no ways around it. However, Peggle is a really low poly game, so that means, or a really low resolution game, so that means that you can aim at most pixels just about anywhere. But we do use some specific parts of the level to make our lives a little easier. First of all, the bright parts on these pegs are called glints. They're pretty easy to aim at. So right here, this is a glint shot that I have my mouse on right now. You can also aim at these bolts on the level geometry. So this is bolt 3, I believe. I don't remember what nomenclature we have for that. But yeah, you can aim at these. They're really easy to aim at. Here I'm going to show off a strat that is aiming at a glint and then moving down one. So this is a good dunt, we'd call it. Or a good dint, I guess. So this one, since we had Bjorn, we can just use that, and Bjorn does not affect pixel shots negatively. So hooray. And there you go. There's a bunch of different pixel shots for a bunch of different levels. If you are confused by the documents, because the documents actually have coordinates, you can go ahead and click Control-Alt-D on your Windows, and then click Shift F3, or just F3, I guess. Control-Alt-D, F3. There you go. In the bottom right corner, it'll pop up a little coordinates. So if I aim at the bolt, that coordinate is going to be 742, 165, and that's always what that coordinate is going to be. So if you want to check out these pixel shots, and in the document you see them as coordinates, you know what to do now. You can bring up this coordinate overlay. It's just endogenous to the game. It's just a little debug feature that they have that's really helpful. You don't have to enable anything or download anything special. So there you go. I also want to point out, these strats only work 100% of the time when there are no moving pegs in the way of these strategies. Luckily for Peggle Extreme only has one level in total with moving pegs, and it's really easy to get the moving pegs out of the way, as you'll see. So Peggle Extreme is actually a very strategy-heavy run at a high level. But that does not mean you can't play it without using strategies. There are some top players that don't use a ton of strategies and just kind of wing it, use their skill, and that's totally all right. You can also start with some of the easier strategies like the tap strats, and then sort of branch out later once you're a little bit more familiar and comfortable with the game. Yeah. Cool. So, before we sort of get into the gameplay, I'm going to talk a little bit about the categories we're doing and also the game. So, Peggle Extreme. Peggle Extreme. Oh, thank you for the raid, Janano. Janano is a top runner of Peggle, by the way, so welcome in. We're doing a nice little tutorial right now. Forgot to turn those alerts off. Anyways, Peggle Extreme came out after Peggle Deluxe. So what that means is that it has the same engine as Peggle Deluxe, and that means you can do all the same stuff that you can do in Peggle Deluxe versus Peggle Knights. Peggle Knights, they have some differences. The main differences come in a couple areas. The first is that you can do something called text skip. So if I go into adventure mode, and I complete the first level, so I'm going to have to do that, so it'll take a hot second. By the way, runs with coordinates on the bottom left corner or the bottom right corner are not legal, so you have to turn them off before you do a run to do a legal run. But yeah, if I boot up adventure mode, and I just go ahead and complete the first level, I can do something called text skip. The way that that works is when the continue button pops up at the end of the screen, I'm gonna go ahead and click it with the left and right mouse button at the same time. And that'll make it so that the text box that comes up at the end of next level, whoa, actually doesn't come up at all. And here I'm gonna aim right at the middle bucket. You can see how fast that is. So definitely try to focus on that. So then we have our fever here. And then,
Cleverly done.
thanks, Cleverly done. So I'm just showing you what's happening here. I'm gonna click next level, and I'm gonna do it with both mouse buttons at the same time. No text box. You would normally get a text box there. Clicking the text box away takes about a half second, so it's not that big a deal, but it's still something you can do to, you know, like, slightly optimize your play. You can do that in Peggle Extreme and Peggle Deluxe. All right, the next thing that you can do is you can actually enable cheat codes. So there's a subcategory of this game called Scott%, which is playing adventure mode, but with the cheat code Scott on. So I'm gonna do it for you right now. All you have to do is type Scott into your keyboard. So SCOTT. It says right click speed up enabled. What that's gonna do is that's gonna let you speed up your shot using this fast forward, which you do by holding down the right mouse button, even while the shot is active. Wowee, that's fast. So that's a whole separate category if you'd like to play with Scott%. It is not legal for the categories we're going to be going over today. But it's essentially the same as any %, just faster. You have to get calibrated to moving quicker and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's most of that. The last thing that's possible, because of Extreme's mechanics, is for Extreme Grandmaster. Since it's a 100% category, you're going to have to complete challenges, and there are 3 challenges out of the 5. Thanks. That can be completed during the adventure mode. You cannot do that in Peggle Knights or Peggle World of Warcraft. I'll explain that more when we get into EGM. All right. That's all I wanted to talk about with Peggle Extreme's little quirks. And then we're going to go ahead and get into the differences of each of the categories, and then we're going to play. I'm also going to toggle off my coordinates by pressing F3. There they go. They're gone. Bye-bye. All right. We're going to first try Peggle Extreme any %. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those splits because I don't have them up right now. Any % or adventure mode. It's actually called adventure mode, technically, on the leaderboard. So if you see adventure mode, that's what it is. Thank you for the sub, Ifalda. Appreciate it.
Satani 39 lesbian peas.
And adventure mode is of course just beating the first all 10 levels in the game back to back, front to back, and then you just have to hit all the orange pegs to progress. Go to the next level. You of course have to survive with the 10 balls that you're given, and we will talk about some ways to do that, but that's it. Then Extreme Grandmaster is the 100% category of the game. What you need to do there is you not only need to complete all 10 levels of adventure mode, but you need to full clear them. So that means clearing out every single peg, including all of the blues and the purple and the greens, including the oranges. So you actually have to save 1 orange for the very end of the level and hit it when all the other pegs are gone, and then that's the full clear. You also have to complete these 5 challenges here. These 3, this one, and this one, can be completed in adventure mode. These 2 cannot. And we'll talk about some of the implications of that later. But yeah, now that we've talked about everything we need to talk about, let's go ahead and get into the any % run. Okay, I'm going to be talking throughout the any % run about what I'm doing, the strategies I'm using, but I do want to put a quick disclaimer at the beginning. Strategies for this game change all the time, and there's all sorts of valid strategies that you can use for this game. There's no shortage of tap strats and pixel shots that exist. You can find your own, do whatever you like. So I'm going to use some of the more consistent ones here, but you definitely can do whatever you want. Do not worry about it if you want to use different strats, or you don't want to use any strats at all and just want to play. Feel free. Do whatever your heart desires. This is a very flexible speed game. All right, and we're going to count down from 3, 2, 1. So here, one strategy is going all the way to the right. And another strategy is going and aiming at this glint down here on this peg that I'm aiming at. I also want to point out that 1-1 has a very special feature called Micro Zen. And in Adventure Mode, it doesn't have the greens or the purples yet. The Micro Zen makes it so that when you're down to 6 balls or fewer, the game will improve your shot artificially. So it'll kind of decide to either get free balls or more pegs or more orange pegs than your previous shot did. You can probably see it right on here. That's a pretty artificially improved shot right there. Thank you, Microzen. So you can use that to your advantage a little bit by leaving oranges that are hard to get and letting Microzen just get them for you instead of your own aiming. And there we go. I'm gonna click with both mouse buttons at the same time to do text skip. Skips a text box. And then here I'm gonna do all the way to the right, and then bucket timing is -0. Then all the way to the left, and bucket timing is +10. All the way to the left and 2 taps. And that just gets rid of the left and right sides really easy. Then I'm gonna aim in the middle and then do 1, 2, 3, 4 left taps on my keyboard. And this is the only strat in Peggle Extreme that is not completely consistent. It just goes into the middle of the screen and gets some stuff. And then you focus on the oranges after that. Yeah, this one, the moving pegs in the middle can kind of be a pain. You want to try to avoid messing with them as much as you can, because they can cause shots where you bounce forever. And there we go. Pretty good level.
Cleverly
And I
done.
left an orange for the bottom there because it would be closer to the bottom of the screen when the level ended. Alright, here I'm aiming all the way to the right side and tapping once left on my keyboard. And that does this big old shot. Very, very useful. And then I'm just gonna aim high. And do the rest of the level here. That bucket timing, by the way, is +9 for that first shot. Because a security free ball never hurts. The only thing that would hurt is if you mistimed it and then the ball bounced on the... Ooh, that's unlucky. Oh well. Is if you mistimed it and then the ball bounced on the free ball bucket, just like that. So you may as well use those bucket times as long as you've practiced them. There we go. This next one here, I am going to use the, what I call Ascalent, sorry. It's aiming at the sort of right peg part of this peg here, and then the hat glint, which is aiming at this part of the peg here. Really just destroys a lot of the level geometry, makes it a lot easier, even though it's a little slow at the beginning. There are other strats for this level, certainly, that people use. There are other strats for every level that people use, but for this one, a lot of people aren't a big fan of this shot because it's really slow. But it does get rid of most of the level geometry, which is nice. And then if I have any oranges on this, I like to do a slide here. And then here I'm going to aim at this bolt, but actually go 1 pixel left and 1 pixel up. Oh, and I did it wrong. Oops. That's all right. Even if you mess up that pixel, it's not a huge deal. The first 2 pixels are the more important ones, and they're also the easier ones to aim. Yeah, for levels like this, where you kind of just go for a set bit of strategy, the generation kind of does matter, because the amount of oranges you have on your shots is going to be important. And nice ending there. And then here I'm going to go ahead and start with my right 2. Right 2? And then we're going to... Or, no, right 10, actually. And then this is right +4. Or yeah, right 2 +10. And then R +4. And then I'm actually gonna waste 2 super shide shots here because I accidentally got a green when I did not want to. And then I'll make it so that I can do the optimal stuff on the left side, which is L2 plus 9. Again, if you're not sure what these numbers mean that I'm talking about, there's a nice exclamation 1, 2, and then L2 minus 6. I think it might be plus 6, actually. I don't know. Check the document. Yeah, you can check the document that I have linked in the description here, if you're not sure what all of these numbers mean. Also, don't worry about the splits. We're going a little slow because we're explaining everything. And here's a nice situation where I am going to not only, try to get that green for future shots, but I'm also going to try to get the oranges, and we got lucky. That's called aiming high. You want to aim at your high up oranges, and then you might get lucky and aim and get bottom down stuff. So there, that was a specific pixel from the background. Unfortunately, this level doesn't have a lot of easy ways to get those slides, so that's the only background pixel I really recommend learning. And then here I'm aiming at this glint, and then I tapped right 5 times to get this nice slide. There are several diverging strategies after this, but the one I like to do is aiming at this glint and going 1 pixel right. And then doing this. And then from here, you just focus on your oranges and get on 3. Also, something I forgot to mention earlier, this game really benefits from having low DPI, so low distance per increment. Nice. When you are moving slowly, or not moving a lot. So fancy mouses can help. Doing your mouse settings on Windows, that can also help. We're doing L2 minus 0 there, and then R plus 8. There are definitely different strategies for this level, a lot of them. I'm going to show a completely different strategy for the EGM portion of this run, but I like this one here. The bucket timing wasn't quite right. I like showing this one here because it's pretty simple for an any percent. And remember earlier I was talking about the multiplier and how it increases with every orange you get. So you want to sort of focus on getting a lot of oranges early a lot of the time. Ooh, nice shot. Because that'll make it easier later on to get oranges, or to get free balls from points. You need 25,000 points in a single shot to get a free ball. So if you get that multiplier up nice and early, that can help a lot. Here I did pretty well thanks to aiming high. Aiming at stuff that I needed to get out of the way that was really high up. Went ahead and helped me get a lot of extra stuff on the way down. And there we go. Level complete. Boom is one of the hardest levels in this game. So don't worry about that too much if it doesn't go well for you. So unfortunately 2-3 is another level kind of like 2-1 where pixel shots are really important because there aren't a whole lot of other ways to break into these turrets here on the side. So this pixel shot I'm doing on the right side here is a great way to get into the right side. Oh, I didn't do it quite right. I think that's correct. Yep. Luckily, once you line this pixel shot up with -5 bucket timing, if you don't move, which I accidentally did, so I'm moving myself back, you just do it twice. You just shoot it twice. The second one is with +5 bucket timing, though, instead. And then that clears this out pretty reliably. Really nice. Gets a bunch of stuff out of the way. And then I'm going to show you one way to do this left side here, but there are 2 ways. I'm going to show the other one during the EGM part. So this one, you want to do a +0 bucket timing, I think. No, actually, that would have been better with +2. And then you do this pixel shot here. There we go. With a +2 bucket timing. And yeah, if you can get the purple in there, then that's even better, because you're likely going to get a free ball from points from that shot. And remember, the purple moves between blues every single time, so you can kind of waste shots by getting other oranges on the right side if you don't have the purple on the left side there, if you'd like to manufacture that artificially for yourself. Yeah, using Bjorn to get sort of 2-for-1s is really a good strategy thing there. And then I left a peg that I knew was going to immediately get in there. All right, so this level, 2-4, we have 4 shots that decimate this level. So we start with, I wasn't completely sure if that was the right shot. We start with this glint on this peg here. Oh, I think I moved again. Darn it. I keep moving. So if you shoot at it, and then I recommend taking your hand off the mouse and holding down on the enter key. If you do that and just wait for the shot to end, you're going to end up keeping on that same pixel. And this peg actually disappears from this shot, as you can see. So you can't sort of re-aim it. So that's what I do for this shot. And there you go. As long as you hold down enter, it'll shoot immediately when the game is ready. And then you can do that. Enter strats are actually an advanced strategy across the board for this game. You can hold down enter after you aim during your previous shot, and then the game will shoot it early. So if you're a really high level player of this game, I definitely recommend doing enter shots. They do save time, but it's kind of really hard to plan them and everything. So if you're just starting out, definitely don't sweat it. And there we go. See? Nice and easy.
Once again, excellent.
All right, and then finally we've got 2-5. This is one of the most diverse levels in terms of strategies that exist for it, so there's all sorts of stuff going on here. I'm going to do a tap strat strategy for this to show you how to do that. So we're going to aim all the way to the left and then click 9 times on the right side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is another one where I recommend taking your hand off the mouse because we're going to do L9 again the next time. And remember, if we get that green, that's going to change the increment of our shot, and we're not going to be able to reline it up. So then +5 bucket timing here. Do it again. +6 might be a little better. And then all the way to the right, -2.5. And this does a nice job of clearing out a lot of this sort of bottom thing here. That would otherwise be really hard to do. Maybe +3 would have been better there. Bucket timings are a little hard sometimes. Here you have these portals, by the way. The orange ones are the intake portals, and they spit out of the blue ones. So you kind of have to be careful about that. I like doing that little slide there. Nice and quick. You can use Bjorn's power to get ones that are sort of underneath the portal. I recommend that. Or that are just in other ways hard to aim at. I like doing shots like those for those top ones, and there we go. And that is an any percent run for you. Of course that one was slow, but nice little tutorial 12:45. As soon as you click that first continue, that is the end of your time. So you can spend your time on the credit screen all you want. Check out this Peggle screen and this credit screen. I love Peggle Extreme. Thanks for the GGs. Yeah, I definitely recommend starting with any percent. It's a really nice way to familiarize yourself with the game. It's a really fast category. This is a super fast speed run. So if you just sort of enjoy going quick, this is a great place to start. Definitely recommend this one for beginners. It's a good little category. You don't have to use all the strats I just showed you. I do recommend learning some of them. The ones I kind of pointed out as extra helpful, I would say, are the ones you should maybe focus on. But no need to start out with strats. You can literally just play the game and try to go quickly. All right. That was any percent. So now we're going to go ahead and close those splits. And we're going to open up the Extreme Grandmaster splits. So Extreme Grandmaster is the 100% category of this game. We do technically have 2 other categories on the board before we go into EGM that I'll talk about. The first is Scott percent, which I went over a little bit earlier, where you type Scott in and then you can speed up the level mid-game. Or mid-shot. You can speed up the shot mid-shot, just like you can in between shots. Fun fact about that, the in-between shot speed up is 8 times. The during shot speed up is 4 times. It's actually a little bit slower, but it's still really fast. And then that one is just for that exact thing that we just did, but with sped up. And then the second category that's also on the board is called Grandmaster. Grandmaster is the adventure mode plus the challenges. And that one's going to have a slightly different route from EGM here, but it's going to be pretty similar in terms of it's kind of just adventure mode, and then you do the challenges after with a couple of exceptions. Go ahead and watch a run for that after this EGM tutorial, and you'll kind of understand how it works. Grandmaster is a fun little way to just kind of do a bonus add-on to adventure mode, kind of flex your skill a little bit. I definitely do recommend it. It's a good category, but EGM's my personal favorite. I think this is a really, really fun category. I definitely recommend it. So, to remind everybody what we're doing here, Extreme Grandmaster is a 100% category of the game. And that means it starts with a fresh file. So you gotta make yourself a nice new file. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna complete every level of adventure mode, front to back, and full clear every single level. So that means take out every peg of every level. So that means we have to save an orange for the end of every level, clear out every single other peg, and then hit that orange. You also need to do all 5 challenges, which we can't view yet, but I'll tell you about a little bit. One challenge is to fully clear 1-1, which we're going to do in adventure mode anyways, and that does count. One challenge is to do 300,000 points in level 1-2, which we're going to try to do in adventure mode. Another challenge is very similar, 350,000 points in 1-3, which we will also try to do in adventure mode. And then there are 2 other challenges that involve putting more oranges on the screen for 1-5 and 2-1, which we cannot do in adventure mode. So I'll kind of talk about those as we route them in. But yeah, so this is definitely a more advanced category than any percent. I definitely recommend starting with any percent, but this is a super fun category. I do really love this one. So if you're looking to do more Peggle, definitely try this one out. So we're going to go ahead and start us off. Time starts when we click adventure. So, 1-1 here, I'm going to use this glint shot by aiming at the glint of this peg here. It's a pixel perfect shot in order to go ahead and do that nice fast shot there. 1-1, when you're doing it in Extreme Grandmaster, so when you're trying to full clear everything, in adventure mode, is actually a little bit easier said than done. So basically this level has a mechanic called microzen in it, which makes it so that your shots are increased quality when you have 6 balls or fewer left. So what that means is the game is kind of gonna hone in on free balls, points, and yes, orange pegs. So what you kind of have to do is you kind of have to be smart and leave oranges alone a little bit in spots where the game is going to have trouble getting to them. So like this top corner. And then hopefully at the end, you're gonna be okay. Also, we're gonna start doing something called free balling here, which is aiming directly into the free ball bucket. This is an extremely important skill in Extreme Grandmaster, and I highly recommend practicing this a lot. You're gonna need it to be able to full clear these levels. Now the game is, I'm doing this a little fast because I know the game is going to help me out here. Here I'm gonna do a bit of a risky shot because I was pretty sure the game was gonna know how to deal with that. Oh, that was sad. Well, at it again. So, as you can see, easier said than done. You have to practice those free ball shots. I got a little cocky there. So don't do what I say. Do what I say, not what I do. I also decided not to use the glint shot there. It doesn't really, like, it's a good shot, but you don't have to do it. Same thing as kind of any other level in this game. Some strats are really helpful, but you don't have to do them. I'm also kind of trying to get down to 6 shots, 6 balls as quickly as possible so that we can get microzen. So as you can see here, the game is definitely improving my shot for me artificially. Like that's not normal. It's only gonna improve your shot a little bit. It's not like Master Who's power. It's not gonna, you know, absolutely like revolutionize your shot or whatever. So here I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to free ball this, and then I'm gonna hope that the game kind of cooperates with me. Yes, perfect. Nice, cool clear. And that's the proper level clear there. So the game is not gonna microzen you for the rest of the game, so you don't have to really worry about that too much. Unless you reset a level a bunch of times, and then the game will actually turn back on microzen. But, so here's 1-2. 1-2 is actually one of the most important and special levels in EGM, which is why I'm taking it slower here to explain some stuff to you. So first, we're going to go ahead and aim all the way to the right side and do a 0 bucket timing. Nice. Then we're going to aim all the way to the left side, tap 2 times on the right on your keyboard, and then go when the ball bucket is on the right side of the screen, plus 10 bucket timing. Nice free ball. You really want to get those free balls there when you can. Then you're going to aim all the way in the middle of Bjorn's portrait, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 taps on the left side. You kind of want to wait for the orange pegs to be accessible there. Unlucky. So what we were hoping for is for the ball to drop in the middle here. That is the only strategy that we use in this run that isn't like 100% consistent. But luckily this middle ring has a bunch of oranges. You want to shoot in the middle ring afterwards, after you do that. Down L4. Nice, got lucky there. So you kind of want shots like that because you're trying to get 300,000 points in this level. And normally what you need is something called Crazy Mad Skills. So when you get 10 free balls in a row, you're going to get Crazy Mad Skills. And these balls, or these pegs here, are pretty easy to free ball off of. So if you go ahead and just clear out the middle, you can start to free ball. 5 in a row also gives you 25k, just like we did there. It's called Mad Skills, which is important. And unfortunately there, that broke our streak, so we'll need to start again. Luckily, since we had that wild generation in this level, we actually don't need CMS. We just need to full clear the level. But normally you would need CMS. The reason that this is so hard and you need those 10 free balls in a row is because the game has not given us the purple peg yet, which gives you a lot of free points. So if you don't want to do this here in this part of the level, that is okay, actually. You do not have to. You can actually just get through adventure mode and then do it again in the challenges page instead. So I'm going to try to show off with CMS here. There we go. So we got a true CMS there. You can actually, after you do a CMS, you should just shoot straight into the free ball bucket, because otherwise the game will decide that you're done with getting mad skills and crazy mad skills and not give you any more points for that, weirdly. So here we got our points just fine, but we do need to be worried about full clearing, because we have this orange peg that's a little bit hard to reach here, or a little bit hard to avoid. So I like going off of the back of there. And then let's see if we can get both. Yes, we can. Nice end. So you can use shots like that to make yourself more efficient there. All right, 1-3. This one also has a points challenge. It is for 350k. However, it's going to be pretty easy to do that because we're going to go ahead and aim at the right side, tap once, so R1, and then do a 9.5 plus 9.5, 10-ish bucket timing. That's going to do this big shot. And that makes our lives a lot easier. And actually, I'm going to restart it and get the correct bucket timing, because that's going to kind of ruin my opener sequence, and I want to show it off properly. This is a tutorial, it's not a run. But yeah, especially if you get enough oranges in that shot for something called orange attack, which gives you 50k bonus points, you're going to be pretty much set on points if you full clear the level. Then we do go all the way to the right and do +5 bucket timing for that shot. This shot is going to be all the way to the left, 1 tap, L1, -4. And then all the way to the left, -0. And then I aim at this glint here and then do a -8.5 bucket timing, but this bucket timing is really inconsistent. You might just not get it. If you get it, though, you get a free mad skills, which is really helpful for just guaranteeing your points. As soon as you get the amount of points that you need, or you're pretty sure you're going to get the amount of points that you need, at 250k, you're guaranteed that if you full clear the level. You can start just doing fast and risky shots to full clear the level, which is much better than having to free ball all sorts of stuff all the time. Also, remember that these orbs on the left and right side of the level are actually solid. So you're going to have to sort of consider that when you're doing free balling. Definitely recommend practicing. Oh, that's okay. Also, a lot of the time in this level, you're going to end up with a generation like we did here, where there's a bunch of oranges at the bottom. So when that happens and you don't have any oranges at the top to save for the very end of the level, I just try to do as many of the blues at the top of the level as I can, so that we are not worried about that. Ooh, nice. Good snipe. And then once you have only oranges, then it doesn't matter. And there we go. Also, every ball that you have left over at the end of the level is worth 10,000 points, so that's an extra bonus for that one. All right, now we don't have any points challenges to worry about anymore. We're just full clearing. So I'm going to go ahead and aim at this, this little glint down here. I call it the ass glint. Sorry about that. And then we're going to do the hat up here. Hat glint. And this just kind of clears out a lot of the level. You're hoping for a green on one of those two shots. If you get a green on one of those two shots, then you can do this next shot here. Also, oftentimes that shot is going to give you a free ball from points, which is really nice. Here, I believe it's a minus 2 or 1 bucket timing that works. Yep. And you go ahead and line that shot up with your super guide, and then you can get that nice slide. Then here I'm going to aim at this bolt here, and then do 1 up pixel and 1 left pixel with a minus 2-ish bucket timing. And that just clears out a lot of this right side. That opener sequence is so good in this level that normally you can kind of just shoot and win afterwards. You don't really have to free ball a lot. Just be cognizant of where your final oranges are so that you're not early clearing. And go fast. This is one of the easiest full clears in my opinion if you do the opener sequence properly. I tried to shoot straight down there so that it would go right into the ball bucket, but didn't quite. That's okay. And then here we go. So 1-5. So I recommend looking at your generation here, seeing where your greens are. So you'll kind of memorize as you go through this run what pegs that your opener shots are going to hit. So here the green is actually out of the way on my right side, and that's good. So I'm gonna do right, and then 2, and then plus 10. Oh, actually no, it was in the way. Oops, that's okay. The reason that this matters is that Bjorn's power will actually change your openers up a little bit. In that it'll make R2, L2, and more taps than that unviable. So there I did R2 plus 10, and then R plus 3-ish, 4-ish. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to burn 2 super guide shots by just aiming at the right side, which is good because you need to clear at the right side anyways. And then I'm going to go all the way to the left, do plus 2, plus 9-ish, and then I'm going to hold my my plus 2, and then do it again for with a minus 6 bucket diming. And that does all that carnage with free balls attached. So obviously, if you can do all of those, this is a super easy full clear. One of the easiest in the whole game. You just have to be worried to not hit that final orange. Be careful. Another thing I'm going to talk about here real quick is that there's actually a challenge for this level to complete the level, but with 45 oranges instead. Now, you actually cannot do that in adventure mode because adventure mode's just going to have 25 oranges and there's nothing you can do about that. But you are going to have to come back to this level in the challenges. So, if you don't full clear this level here, you can actually do it in challenges and it'll count. Ooh, scary. Try not to do that. And there you go. we're going to be using those same strats again later, so, you know, a thing to keep in mind. So 2-1, what you want to do here is you want to take stock of your level, and you actually have to use a background pixel shot here, unfortunately. This is the only level where I'd really recommend a background pixel shot. It's this one here, but I'm not actually going to take it yet because I want a different generation than this. If you see a green in this slide or in these kinds of pegs down here, you want to reset. And just keep doing it until you're clean. This is clean. The reason that you want to do that... Thank you for the Warren Gay, but please no more points redeems for now. The reason that you're doing that is because the second shot of this opener sequence requires doing tap shots. And as we said before, Bjorn ruins that. So we're going to go ahead and do this pixel, and then a +10 bucket timing. There's a nice little slide there. Then we're going to go on to this glint, and then do 5 taps to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then -2. There is a way to get around that, but I haven't learned it yet. But there is a way to get around that. Ask the Discord for more help with that. Then you're going to aim at this glint and go 1 pixel right to the right. That's called a grint. -3 bucket timing. And that gets most of that. There are other strategies in this level that people use, so definitely recommend checking out other strategies if you're curious. So now that we've done all of that, and you want to try to use a Bjorn to get at least a partial slide here if you can, I recommend clearing out the middle stuff first. You can use Bjorn to get some of the harder shots if you have them. Because the middle stuff is a lot easier than the side stuff in this level. As a general rule, if you can sort of get this little yellow aiming triangle on your peg, it's going to be a lot easier to freeball than if you can't. These low down ones are very deceptive. They will often go a lot farther than you think they will, just like that. The sort of edges of those brick pegs aren't too bad usually. And yeah, you can even free ball off the corners of these. This will just get easier with practice. I recommend just practicing on all of this. Also, the more oranges that you get, the better, because you can go for multiplier shots later. I'm gonna do that here, where I get another orange here. And then I get another orange here. Now I have full multiplier. What that means is I can actually do shots where I get the purple and then 4 other blues, and that gives me a free ball every time if you're at maximum multiplier. If you have 3 orange pegs left, you can do that. Also, this is another level where... But unfortunately, I'm not going to take that risk here yet, because we have those pegs at the bottom, and now I can be risky. This is another level with challenges. With another challenge, but it's a 35 orange challenge, so you're going to have to come back to this level again later. That does mean that if you don't get the full clear in adventure mode, that's okay. Just do it later. All right. Here's Boom. So Boom has a really long opener sequence that I definitely recommend learning. So you're going to go to this bolt shot and do +5. Also, there's a totally different opener shot sequence for this also that J-Nano came up with pretty recently. So again, try out the strats, see which one you like more. I think this one's a little easier because it doesn't require some kind of gross pixels. But, you know, the other one is a little faster, so whatever you prefer is good. Yeah, and then you do +5 bucket timing on this glint. You did 2 shots there, +5, +8.5, then this one +5, then this one here, -0. It needed to be +0 then, I think. And then this bolt, +6. Then up here, you're gonna want to just do aim high strats for a little while and try to get a lot of these brick pegs out of the way because they're gonna be really hard to freeball. So prioritize, yeah, shots that just hit a lot of stuff, mostly. And get these brick pegs out of the way, because again, they're really difficult to deal with. And the more oranges you get away, the better as well. Bring up that multiplier. So here, one thing I like to do is I like to leave this right side structure open. Because then I can wait for a point boost to be there, and it's likely always going to give me a free ball from points. Just like that. Definitely practice free balling for this level. You're gonna have to do a lot of it. Oh, jeez. Missed. This peg's kind of weird and deceptive, I feel like, a lot of the time. Here I'm not going to go for either orange until I absolutely have to, because I'm definitely at risk of early clearing from them. Nice. And then here I'm just going to go for that. That's okay. That's okay. As long as you have enough balls left, you know you're going to be fine. And there we go. I could have aimed that directly in a free ball bucket. That would have saved time. So, a note, make sure to try to aim your end shot directly in a free ball bucket. All right. So, 2-3. This was the bane of everybody's existence, and sort of still is. So, there's the right and left sides of this level. You can do the opener shots for them in either order that you want to. It's mostly going to be fine regardless. So, first you have this pixel on the right side here. This one's kind of gross. I don't think I aimed it correctly on the second go. Nope, it's all good. For the first one, you wanted minus 5.5 bucket timing. I didn't do it right. And then the second one, plus 5. I did do that one right. And then here, you're going to aim at this glint up here. Go 1 to the right. And do a minus 4 bucket timing. Nice. Then you do L1 plus 1 bucket timing. Easy to remember. Thank you for the follow. There you go. And then we're going to go ahead and aim this really bad pixel. So you put your mouse here such that you see one black pixel on the left side of the mouse. And then scroll up until the Bjorn guide is sort of pointing down, just like it looks here. Just like it looks here. Plus 6 bucket timing. There you go. The reason we do that is then you can go ahead and aim your Bjorn here. And you can get this really weird thing of pegs there. Unfortunately, I didn't aim it quite high enough to get them all, but it was still pretty good. And then you can also aim your Bjorn here. Do a plus 6 bucket timing. And there you go. You can get that nice little slide as well. So the pegs down here are really hard to get because of these portals and this little blocker thing in the middle here. So if you have extra Bjorns after this, definitely use them to get those pegs. If you just do shots that get lots of them, it usually works out because you usually have enough pegs after the first bit, or enough balls after that first bit, that it's fine. So I'm just trying to do combo shots here. That missed, but it's no big deal. You can always get these pegs from really specific shots off of the middle circle here. Just like that. I'm doing that early because that's a really hard free ball, and the rest of these are going to be a lot easier, so I'm going to just do that now. Same thing here. Nice. Nice. And then these are really easy to kind of get all together, and if you're down to all oranges, then it's no problem. Ah, I thought I might miss on that, but I had enough balls that it was fine. And there you go. Just make sure you have enough balls. Big recommendation there. All right, this level gets destroyed by simply doing 4 pixel shots. So first one is this glint on the right side here. What I do here is I take my hands off the mouse, and then I hold down enter while this shot goes. The reason I'm doing that is because the glint peg actually disappears after this shot. So if you move your mouse by accident, you're not going to be able to re-aim this. And it costs you a lot of time. So I just bite this bullet here and let the game count up the points, and then it does the enter shot. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my mouse on this bottom glint here. Wait for this shot to go. Also, I'm holding down right to speed up the points tallying every single time that the shot ends. And then there you go. So this gets rid of almost every single peg that is outside of these like portal wall things. What you're going to want to do to get this one down here, this nice straggler, is use a Bjorn shot and then aim it kind of roughly like this. It'll usually work. Yep, there you go. And then you focus on the ones in here. Make sure to avoid the final orange. Do not do any shots that would risk getting the final orange, like at all, before you've gotten everything else. And then you're good.
Once again, excellent.
Good level. All right. And then finally, this is the main, last main level in the game, 2-5. This one has a very, very long opener sequence as well that I think most people use. You aim at this bolt here with +9 bucket timing first. Then you aim all the way to the right with a +4 bucket timing. Then same bolt, -0. Same bolt shot, keep it there, -10 on the bucket. Then you do this glint. -2 bucket timing. And then you can either use your green aiming thing from Bjorn here to just get this slide, or you can do this glint, but up 4 pixels. Or you can do this glint, but over 4 pixels. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. That's fine as well. And then you do a +10 bucket timing there. And then all you have to do is clean out the rest of the level. Just be aware of where your final orange is that you want to use. I like doing that shot a lot of the time. Here, I'm going to keep this as my final orange, so I'm going to be strategic about using these right side pegs to get these other right side pegs using Bjorn. That's a really good thing to do early. I like to aim kind of up here on this peg to get these sort of like vertical bouncing shots, because it's usually faster to do that than it is to clear out each of them one at a time. Whoa. Thanks, ball bucket. You want to avoid that. Little off the final bucket. That's okay. There we go. All right, we're not quite done yet. Let's go into the challenges mode. As you can see here, we already did the 300K, 350K, and the full clear 1-1 challenge, so we're just left with these two. If you haven't done these full clears in any percent, so for 2-1 or for 1-5, you can do them here. But here I'm going to show off just not doing that at all. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. And reset for no green. Do the bucket timing unsuccessfully. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's alright if you get the super guide on the next one, because this one's just a pixel shot, which Bjorn does not ruin. Bjorn is a really great power, by the way. I really love using super guides strategically in these levels. I think he's super fun to use in this game. He just doesn't make tap strats any easier for you. Remember, there's 35 oranges in this level, in the challenge, so you just have to be more efficient with your balls. Just make sure that you have enough to survive at any given point. You can use that multiplier we were talking about to get those higher point shots. Or, of course, just get shots that get multiple oranges in one and aim at high or up oranges. Those are all good ways to survive. And there you go. Pretty easy. All right. And then finally 45 orange pegs. So here I'm going to do left side first because there's no greens on the left side at all. And it doesn't matter whether you do left or right side first in this level. So I'm showing left side first now. And remember, it's L2 and L2, so that would be messed up by Bjorn. This one's 45 oranges. So I usually actually do the full clear for this level here instead of in the adventure mode, but I wanted to show it off earlier. But I would normally do it here because actually any percent clearing this challenge is obviously a little bit worse with 45 oranges instead of 25. So you may as well just full clear here instead. For 2-1, it's such a hard full clear that I usually attempt it on my first time in. But if it's not going well, you can just abandon it and do the any percent clear instead. And then once you're done with all those openers, just do the stuff we've been talking about. You can also try to do this little slide, if you can set it up. Try not to do shots like that sort of bounce up into oblivion. And there we go. And that's the run. There's the tutorial. Once again, time stops when you click that final continue, so that would have been a 30:13. Thank you for the GG. And you can hang out on the credits all you want. Yeah, there's the Extreme Grandmaster tutorial section. I think both of these runs that I've showed off here in the tutorial are really, really good. I really love them both. So just consider playing this game. It's free on Steam. Go ahead and download it onto whatever machine that can play it and play it. Remember, if you have any questions, to either ask me, Satan herself, or go to the Peggle Discord. We have a big speedrunning Discord. I'm a mod there. It's a very, very helpful community. We want new players. We want people to try this game out. Link will be in the description for that. And if you want to learn Peggle Deluxe or Peggle Knights, I have tutorials for both of those as well on my YouTube. I'll link those in the description too. Yeah, so happy speedrunning. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.